As part of everybody's new MS4 permit, you have 3 years from the effective date of the permit to do your dry weather outfall screening. As part of that screening, you have to go to all of your outfalls. All of your outfalls are not going to be in nice, easy to reach locations. You are going to have to search for many of your outfalls. You are going to have outfalls that require potentially canoes, boats, wading through streams for half a mile to find all your outfalls. It's glorious work, I can assure you. So you see we have a couple outfall pipes down here. One is perched, one is partially inundated. When you are doing your dry weather outfall screening, the one that is inundated, you cannot do your outfall screening at that outfall. You have to go up into the system to the next manhole and see if the stream is no longer interfering with your dry weather outfall screening. You have to have a condition unlike today that has had no rain, less than 1/10 of an inch in the last 24 hours. So behind everybody back here, you can see an asphalt sort of swale conveyance to the stream. That counts as an outfall. So that is something to consider when you are going around doing these surveys, thinking about your outfall mapping. That is an outfall. Any structured conveyance of stormwater into a water of the United States is considered a point source and is considered an outfall. So you do your dry weather outfall screening. If you have flow from your outfall, now is when sampling comes into play. You have to take at least one sample, and you can do that in 2 different ways. You can decide, you're going to come geared up and sample any outfalls that may have dry weather flow at the time of inspection, or you can decide, all right, I'm going to get my laundry list of places that have dry weather flow, and I'm going to, sample them all, one sampling day and do all of them. It's up to you as the permittee how you do that. You have 3 years to complete those investigations, though, and take that sample of any place that you find flowing during dry weather. It has been my experience you want to take the sample when you're there when it's flowing, because a lot of these things are not permanent illicit connections. They're intermittent illicit connections. So I've seen it where I've gone out and I've had flow during dry weather. It hasn't rained for 3 weeks. And I've had dry weather flow, and I've come back 2 weeks later where it still hasn't rained, and now there's no longer flow. So you don't always know where that connection is possibly coming from. So you do want to take advantage, in my personal opinion, of being out there and doing the sampling and testing for the different parameters that you're supposed to test for when you're actually out in the field the first time. Yes?
Like, I'm looking at this 2 pipes. There's nothing flowing out of that, so you can't really do a sample now? Is that what you're saying?
As a visual inspection,
yeah,
you would be able to write down the size of the pipe, give it a unique identifier, what's it made out of, categorize that there was no flow, and your dry weather inspection, you fill out your form.
But if something is flowing and you don't think it should be, then you do the sample. Gotcha.
Is there a reason why I couldn't go to the end of this drainage and use that as my outfall instead of taking all the little outfalls going into it?
So, welcome to New England, where New Englanders for literally decades and centuries have been amazing at culverting, piping, and channelizing our streams and making them look like not what you would consider a natural looking stream, but conveying them in a hardened arm and bank like this. There are streams I've come across literally that go under the center of town and nobody knows the stream is there because it's completely culverted through the entire center of town. But the outfalls remain the constant. So your storm drain system is discharging at the outfall to the stream.